Hey everyone, Harrison101 back at it once again for a brand new video for you. This is Ask Harrison 2, as well as part 11 of our FIFA 12 Road to the Championship. This is a unedited, live recorded game of Manchester United versus Arsenal, my next game in the season. And while the gameplay plays in the background and I have quite the epic game with Arsenal, I'm going to answer your questions submitted to me via Facebook, YouTube and via Twitter. Thanks to everybody who sent a question in. I've got a lot more time in the video than I did last time, so I'm not going to be able to rush it. And instead, I will be able to take my time and explain things a bit more. Hopefully, you'll enjoy that a bit more than last time, where I didn't answer every question and I had to rush through the whole thing because the silly thing was I recorded the commentary first and then had to build the video around that. It was quite silly of me. Anyway, on with the questions. Richard Evans from Facebook asks me, what is your favourite team, driver and circuit from the 2012 Formula 1 season? Favourite team, driver and circuit. Difficult question. Circuit, probably Montreal. I've always loved Montreal for some reason, just as a high-speed kind of track. I've always loved Montreal. Lots of overtaking, a lot of fun. Just an overall, just a great track. So, Montreal, I'd say for favourite circuit. Favourite driver, I think, has got to be Sebastian Vettel. I think he's a character. He's a proper Anglophile, you know, big Little Britain fan, big Monty Python fan, which is the holy grail of British comedy, in my opinion. Just a great guy. I mean, I don't see any reason not to like Sebastian Vettel. I mean, other than the fact he's good, and people hate on him for that, which I think is quite silly of them. Yet they're all hardcore Lewis Hamilton fans. But hey, that's just me. Favourite team? Probably Ferrari. I'm a fan of them as a car manufacturer and as a petrol head. I've always had this magical love for Ferrari, so I think that just kind of crosses over to the Formula 1 team as well, kind of by default. I'm not as big a fan of McLaren as everybody else thinks I am. I mean, a lot of people have this bandwagon and believe that if you're British you have to support McLaren, which I think is bullshit. That's just my take on the whole thing. But yeah, favourite team, driver and circuit from the 2012 season. There you go. Raikkonen supporter asks me, I wonder who he's a fan of anyway. Do you watch MotoGP, and if so, what do you think about Casey Stoner retiring? I'm gutted. Yeah, I'm a big MotoGP fan. I've been watching it for about 10, 11 years now. Me too. I'm absolutely gutted about Casey Stoner retiring. He wasn't the most exciting guy in the world, and he wasn't the biggest character like a Valentino Rossi was. But Casey Stoner was put on a bike to win races, and he was a pure winner. You could see from the days when he was at LCR Honda, he had natural ability flowing out of him. Probably the most talented rider of a bike I've seen since Valentino Rossi was, and it's a real shame that we're going to lose him so soon, because he's one of the best bike riders I think MotoGP has ever had. I think he's up there in that elite category. To win 2 world titles and be in contention for a 3rd in an era that's been dominated by Rossi, and now is blown wide open due to, you know, being such a high quality field now with riders like Dani Pedrosa still, Jorge Lorenzo, Andrea Dovizioso, even Cal Crutchlow now has really stepped his game up this season. To be so dominant and be so consistent in an era like this is so much more difficult, and I'm really going to miss Casey Stoner. He's a fantastic bike rider, one of the best MotoGP has ever had. Robot Wars Lover asks me, why Xbox over PS3? Do you use a controller or a wheel? And thirdly, how do you get over 10 subs? I only have 2. 3 questions for the price of 1. These guys are really getting their questions in, aren't they? Xbox over PS3 because basically I've already got a PS3 and I wanted it to be different from my brother who had a PS3 before I had an Xbox. I wasn't a big fan of Sony's PS3. I wasn't a fan of their game selection. I liked Xbox's game selection a bit more back when I first had it about 4 or 5 years ago. I just went with the flow back in 2008 and I haven't looked back. I mean, Forza Motorsport 2 was my first ever Xbox game and I loved the crap out of it. By the way, another frequently asked question, I do not use a wheel. I am purely a controller player. 2 reasons why I can't afford a wheel. One, I literally have got no space in my bedroom for one, and 2, I just literally can't afford it. I've got money to put, you know, in other places. If I could afford and had the space for a wheel, I totally would have one. but I have literally nowhere to put it. My bed takes up like 60% of my room. It's a double bed, where all the magic never happens. Anyway, Pryor457 asks, "Hey Harrison, I'm a recent subscriber and I just made a channel. I want a cheap stand to put my camera on, as some chairs just won't do. Are there any cheap ones out there? I know you talked about this in your 4th anniversary vid, but I'd like some advice face to face, well, message to message. Oh, and one more thing, do you recommend Forza 4? Forza 4 is one of the best racing games ever made. Highly recommend it. If you're willing to put the time and effort into it, it's a magical game. Turn 10 are the best car making game developers in the world now, without question, and they do an exceptional job. So, highly recommend Forza 4. I don't know anything about camera stands because I never used one myself, and I had a digital camera when I was making video blogs back in the day. I just put my camera on my old slimline Xbox 360 box. It just worked out for me as a stand, and I used it ever since. Back in the day, I also used to stack up like DVD and game covers one on top of each other to make a stand. It was really makeshift, as I didn't want to go out and buy one. Just see if you can do makeshift, find a way to work around it. You never know, it might work out for you in the end. Okay. By the way, about Robot Wars' question about subscribers, go check my sharing some YouTube wisdom video. I share my knowledge on that one. Football Forever 100. Sorry if I'm pronouncing these names wrong, by the way. Do you watch the Dutch football competition? As in, do I watch the Eredivisie? Wish I could. Afraid I don't, for the reason of I don't think anyone in the UK airs it besides ESPN, and you have to pay for that channel and it's expensive. But I do like a lot of guys who play in the Dutch League, like De Jong and Dost, for example. Very good football players. Might see him in the Premier League in the next couple of seasons or so. Dustin Stig asks me, what do you think about endurance motorsports like Le Mans? Also, what is your favourite Formula 1 team? Already asked. Favourite Formula 1 team is Ferrari. Endurance, I love endurance racing. I watched about 20 of the 24 hours of Le Mans this year, and I'm not kidding. Le Mans 24 hours is one of my favourite races. I mean, you don't have to be an idiot to work out. It's the holy grail of racing. To win that, you're basically a racing immortal. You know, everyone's won it, like from Sebastian Loeb to Tom Christensen now, and you know those guys are friggin' amazing. And it is one of my bucket list things to do before I die. You know, to go out to France and see a Le Mans 24-hour race live, because it is truly an amazing spectacle, and I really, really want to see one. So I love endurance motorsport. It is awesome. Aniko999 asked me, when is Harrison versus the World coming? When I get a better PC. Instead, I'm now doing community races, which I think is a nice substitute. But Harrison versus the World never really took off because I wanted to make it a live stream series. The problem was my laptop just isn't powerful enough to record and stream gameplay at the same time. It's the problem if I have with my equipment. It's only 3 gig of RAM. My laptop is kind of slow in the grand scheme of things. So, really sorry about that. Yeah, Harrison versus the World is probably dead in the water. But like I said, I'm now doing community races on Formula 1 2011, so then that went down really, really, really well. So, again, it's a nice substitute. And by the way, when I get to 1,500 subscribers, that's when the next community race is happening. So, get on that. If you haven't subscribed, do it now. You could get into the next community race sooner rather than later. Johannes624 asks me, what do you think about DTM? Is it a motorsport that you watch? And I want to know what you think about it. I haven't watched DTM that often, mainly because it's on British Eurosport, and I haven't got time to watch that channel very much. I only really watch British Eurosport for MotoGP. I don't know when DTM actually is on. If somebody could recommend that to me on Twitter or on the comments, or you could, Johannes, please let me know. I'd love to watch DTM, because I know some guys like Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard are in there, and guys I used to really appreciate in Formula 1. But I haven't actually had a chance to watch DTM properly, unfortunately, which is kind of sad, but I wish I could do it more often. Isaac Flip 1989 asks Harrison, when are you going to upload WWE 12 videos? Well, it kind of stopped because viewer levels weren't that high for it, and I actually don't have the game anymore. I wasn't that big a fan of WWE 12. It was one of those things where the visual changes made it better for about a month, and then you realise it's still quite a hollow game. I have nothing against THQ and Ukes, but I really want someone else to take a crack at it now, because I think the series hasn't really progressed overall in the last 4 or 5 years, ever since like 08 and 09, it's pretty much been the same thing. A few minor tweaks here and there, but as a franchise, has it really changed that much in the last 3 or 4 years? Not really. So I said, I sold the game. I traded it in. I traded it in for, I think it was part exchange for SXX, which is an awesome game. So yeah, no WWE 12 anymore. Sorry guys. James the Power asks, Ask Harrison, my question is, do you think Formula 1 2012 will be better than Forza Horizon? And if F1 2012 is bad, will you do VITs? These guys are getting multiple questions in, aren't they? It's crazy. Do I think Formula 1 2012 will be better than Forza Horizon? No. Formula 1 as a game franchise still has issues, and I'm not fully convinced that Codemasters are doing it right. I think they made improvements with 2011, but I still think there's issues with it. I mean, I said it in a previous video when I was doing my 2012 series, or 2011 series, that this game still is far from perfect. And I think Forza Motorsport 4 was an outstanding game, and I don't see any reason why Forza Horizon can't be the same. Turn 10 are just an amazing development team, and an open world simulated racer is something I've always wanted to see. So now we'll be able to see that in October, so I'm really excited for Forza Horizon. I mean, I saw the E3 coverage and I was blown away by it. I was like, wow, I want to play this game, like, immediately. So even if Formula 1 2012 does suck a new one, which it probably won't anyway, because it will probably still be very good, I will make videos regardless, because the backbone of my channel is Formula 1, and I'm not going to suddenly deviate from that just because one game is below maybe my possibly high expectations. So again, maybe we'll wait and see, but Formula 1 2012 is definitely going to happen. I'm almost adamant of this. Arsenal 2022 asks me, will you be live streaming FIFA career mode vids? Again, probably not, because my laptop just isn't powerful enough, which makes me sad deep down, but yeah, there's only so much I can do with my equipment, and you know, I'd love to be able to do this and live stream every other day like a Natus fan or a KSI, for example, but you know, I just don't have the equipment to do it. I'm not made of money. I don't make much money off of this yet. Maybe in the future I'll be able to do that, but just not now. I tried it. I tested a live stream and it was so bad. It's like, it's not even worth it because people ain't going to watch properly. My stuff just isn't powerful enough. Sorry guys. I mean, I really, really want to, but it's just not going to work. Harry Morris 9. Harrison, where are the Formula 1 career mode videos? Been missing them. Also, will community races become a regular occurrence? Formula 1 career mode videos, I always do one a week, at least, maybe 2, depending on how I feel, over the course of a week. We'll have to wait and see. But with Forza Motorsport kind of dying off viewer-wise, I just don't think there's the views in it now for me. And FIFA, overtaking it. There'll be more Formula 1 2011 for sure, no doubt about it. Remember, like I said, it's now the backbone of my channel, so just bear that in mind when you watch. Community races. I said this on Twitter, in case you guys didn't get the message. I'll be doing this once a month. Hopefully that's good enough for you guys. Once a month for any and all community races. Like I said, it went down so well when I did it last time round. I thought, I've got to keep this going. So every month I will now do a community race. Or whenever I have a major milestone, whenever comes first. But yeah, I will almost guarantee to do at least once per month. When I get my headset, I'll make it even better because I'll be able to actually talk to some of you guys at the same time. So that should be a lot of fun. Hopefully that will work out soon. Scotty A from Twitter asks me, what is your top 5 Formula 1 teams for the last 7 years? Tough question. So 7 years. So we're going back to 2005 here. Renault, definitely, due to Fernando Alonso's 2 world titles. Ferrari, obviously, have always been up there, highly consistent. McLaren, definitely, because of Jenson Button and Lewis Hamilton's world titles. Red Bull, obviously, now for Sebastian Vettel's dominant reign. Last season was one of the most dominant, I think, in the history of Formula 1. Vettel blew the field apart. And probably Brawn GP for, like I said, for Jensen's world title. Brawn GP, I always kind of put an asterisk next to their world title run, purely for the reason of that car was so stupidly fast at the start of the season, nobody could catch it. And by the time it was banned and the rest of the field caught up, Jensen had already had one hand on the world title because he won, I think, was it 5 of the first 6 races. So, yeah, Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren, Braun GP, Renault, probably the most 5 dominant teams of the last 7 years. 2 last questions from the Gridwalker from Twitter. He asks, Harry Harrison, did you have the old Xbox as well? What games did you play? I always played FIFA and Burnout. I did have the older Xbox as well. I had it for about 3 years. I was a big FIFA player, a big Burnout Paradise player. I used to friggin' love the hell out of that game. I gave it to one of my best friends now, and I haven't seen it since, and that's probably for good reason. I played a lot of that. I played a lot of Forza Motorsport 2 and 3. Like I said, Burnout Paradise was a big one for me. Any FIFA game that came out in a year, that was always a game I'd always play a lot as well. Mass Effect 2 was another big one for me as well. So those are the big ones I've played in the history of my older Xbox. And another game I don't talk about very much, Blur. Blur was a seriously underrated game back in the day. I really wish I'd rebuy that game and play it again. I think you guys would really enjoy it if I did Blur videos. And finally, do you have a motto or a way you look at life? Well, I've had a lot of interesting things happen to me in the last couple of years in my life. It's been hectic, it's been crazy. If you've been following my videos for a long time, you know exactly what's happened with me in my life over the last couple of years. I'll explain more about it probably in my next video, but a couple of mottos I always look at in life is don't let anyone ever tell you can't be a success. I got that phrase from WWE superstar Chris Jericho when he said the only people who tell you can't be a success are the people who's failed. And also, just to take every day as it comes, because you never know what's going to happen when you wake up the next morning, if you ever wake up the next morning. So just take every day as it comes, keep your head up, stay positive, and keep driving forward. And with that, that shall end Ask Harrison 2. I hope you enjoyed the questions. If you have a question you want to get in a future video, just hashtag Ask Harrison on Twitter, or just drop me a comment below in the description just saying Ask Harrison and insert your question there. I hope you enjoyed Ask Harrison 2, and I will catch you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Sayonara.
Jack Wilshere, Kieran Gibbs, quick ball. Jack Wilshere has a good pass. And the tackle by Vidic, and that is the end. It's all over. A great result, which they managed from this very, very late goal.
Yeah, and I thought the losing team were beginning to tire towards the end. Maybe a concern for the manager, needs to work on the fitness.
Well, that was a fine match in this season.